think can you do, or Congress do specifically to prevent another mass shooting from happening?
Well, let me speak first to where we have been focusing some energies on the mental health piece. My sense is that when we return in September, we'll probably look to more critically review what we had included out of the Health Committee to see if there's more that we can't do to reinforce that. We have with it seems like every initiative that we have passed this year. I'm thinking of the National Defense Authorization. There were provisions specifically built in mental health provisions to help support not only those that are active military but our veterans as well. So it is important to recognize that outside of the issue of the mass shootings and the trauma inflicted there, that we have been really trying to focus much more legislative attention and federal dollars towards those programs to help address the real discrepancies that we have seen in just not addressing mental health issues for so many years. Where the president has made very clear that he wants to take up, that he expects us to take up. He has called it gun legislation. What that gun legislation entails at this point in time, I am certainly not in a position to detail what it might be. I know that there has been a great deal of discussion about building off of what we have already done. You'll recall that when we had the discussion a couple years ago, we had just put in place the NIC fix, the Stop School Violence Act, the bump stock we didn't legislate, but the administration has regulated in that space. There was a limitation or a prohibition within the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, where they were basically limited in their ability to study gun violence. And so we basically pulled that back to say, yes, CDC, you can and you should study gun violence. We really haven't done anything on the funding side, on the appropriation side, to allow the CDC to move forward with that. So it's one thing to take away kind of the gag rule, if you will. It's another thing to make sure that they're resourced. So that's something that I think you will see, or I certainly think we need to see it, and I think we needed to do it yesterday. Is it just the lure of an AR-15? Is that what it is? Is it, if we were to reduce magazine capacity, does that solve the problem? Or do people then move to another weapon of choice? Is it something that we need to focus more on trauma-induced incidents that happen at childhood to make sure that we're following you if you've got you demonstrate some behavior that should send off triggers? I don't know, we don't know, but what we do know is that the level of gun violence and beyond gun violence to mass shootings has escalated to a point in this country that none of us should say is acceptable. I want to make sure that Second Amendment rights are protected. I think that we can do that while at the same time we make sure that children in schools and people at a theater and people at a nightclub and that there's protection.